so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
Live on YouTube. What state do you live in again? Oh, hang on a second. They can't hear you. No, it's not your fault. Why do I not have the audio? Oh, you know what? I bet I have the wrong audio set here. This shouldn't go there. Too many things. I need to send this to there. I just totally was ignoring the fact that one of my sound bars wasn't doing anything.
Oh, well, you know, stuff happens. It's fine.
All right. Now you can
all right,
continue,
we good
Josh.
now? Everybody?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll start over. So Unusual Machines, the parent company of Rotor Riot and Fat Shark, are scheduled to acquire Aloft Technologies for $14.5 million. So Unusual Machines has announced the signing of a binding agreement to acquire Aloft Technologies, Inc., the FAA-approved provider of unmanned aerial system services to enterprise public safety and government customers, as well as providing free recreational access for $14.5 million. That should be important in there. The proposed acquisition brings together companies that share a commitment to strengthening the U.S. drone industry. Aloft Technology specializes in software for the drone fleet and airspace management sector, powering more than 70% of all FAA-approved LANC, low-altitude authorization and notification capability, airspace authorizations in the United States. Aloft has provided more than 1.6 million authorizations in total, with 400,000 authorizations provided in 2024. Aloft has been able to leverage the data collected through millions of safe flights and airspace interactions to launch AirBoss, their new real-time UAS air traffic management software. With the FAA forecasting more than 3 million drones in the airspace by 2028, outnumbering traditional aircraft more than 10 to 1, The coordination and integration of all aircraft is critical to national security and the national economy. Let's see. With the transition away from China, we need to care as much about our drone data as we do drone parts. Aloft is the market leader in answer to how we provide American software to complement our hardware, said Alan Evans, CEO of Unusual Machines. Airboss is the culmination of their years of work in fleet and airspace management. It will unlock airspace collaboration between governments, business, and consumers in a way that can prevent confusion of what happened in New Jersey from ever being an issue again. Aloft's mission has always been to enable flight through better technology and data-driven insights, said Jonathan Hagrain, CEO and co-founder of Aloft. Joining Unusual Machines will accelerate our ability to achieve this mission at a larger scale while continuing to prioritize cybersecurity and American-made software solutions.
So how does Airboss stop people from confusing aircraft or passenger airplanes with drones?
So
And
that's a
make it
good question.
so that what happened in New Jersey won't happen again.
So I don't have any experience with Airboss. So Airboss. Well, I can type tonight. That's awesome.
I just can't imagine any software could help random people looking up in the sky seeing lights and not think that it's a drone, or not think it's being confused about what it is.
There we go. All right, so we've got air control company resources.
Is that not a product that exists yet, so they don't have anything about it?
Maybe it might be.
Oh no, it's out. It's out there. It's new, but it's out. It has been announced. I don't know what the functions of Airboss are either. I'm aware of Air Aware and Air Control. I think Airboss is, remembering from the press release, it is the precursor of what will look like a UTM or an unmanned traffic management system.
Makes sense. Enterprise UTM. Let's check here. Air control. Interesting. I'm not seeing anything Airboss, but maybe I'm not looking in the right place at the moment. So let's see.
This is probably it if you're curious.
Oh, did you find it? Okay.
Some press release about it, I think.
Let's see.
Real-time situational awareness and UTM collaboration for authoritative agencies. So it won't help the public, but it will help the law enforcement know what's in the sky, maybe.
Okay. Solving real-world challenges. Airboss addresses critical gaps in airspace management by providing local, state, and federal agencies the ability to see, communicate, and collaborate with drone operators in real time. This capability is crucial for initiatives like DFR, where rapid coordination between operators and public safety teams can save lives. With Airboss, agencies gain comprehensive visibility of authorized and planned flights within their jurisdictions, real-time communication data to coordinate directly with drone operators, and advanced telemetry integration for live beyond visual light line of sight operations. So what this leads me to believe is if you're applying for a Lance authorization, it's then sending that data to Airboss so that local authorities can see those planned flights, possibly. So interesting. Definitely one of the things I hope that Unusual Machines decides to continue to do is providing that free service to hobbyists and recreational pilots. Because that has definitely been a key factor, I think, in a lot of Aloft's continuing, even going into the commercial side. People who use it for recreational, then turn around, maybe go commercial, and then swap to the paid platform, right? So it's definitely been key. It's fantastic for Lance authorizations. I'd like to see that remain. That's just my hope. So we'll see where it goes from here. Dave, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, to be transparent, as we've spoken here, well, we know John Hagrain's worked with John both in DAC and AC taskings, as well as we have formed the Drone Advisory Council with John and other members of that organization include Pilot Institute, Vic Moss from Moss Photography, as well as Influential Drones and D-Drone. So a number of we've been working together with John a couple of years. I certainly was not aware of this pending acquisition. We've also been working with Rhoda Riot for a number of years, and that includes last year where Alex and I got the Rhoda Riot an exception for remote ID at the Rampage event. So just I think it's there's John Hagrains and his company are and it's an amazing group of software folks. And I agree with Josh. It's really valuable that Aloft has provided air aware and air control at no charge to recreational operators. That's very, very valuable to our safety and the three elements that we push of propeller safety, battery safety, and then airspace authorization. So key on that last one.
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes. Obviously, that's a good deal of money, and hopefully we continue to see improvements in Aloft and continue to utilize that software. So, all right, next we got a feel-good story from Drone XL. Thermal drone technology rapidly locates missing dog in Kentucky winter storm. So, in a compelling demonstration of drone technology's practical applications, a thermal drone operator located a missing dog in Shelby County, Kentucky, within 5 minutes after traditional search methods had failed for 10 days, reports Wave 3. This incident highlights the growing role of specialized drone services in search and recovery operations. Billy Newington's dog Sawyer went missing during January's severe snowstorm while Newington was 4,000 miles away on vacation. The situation began when his original pet sitter, hired through an app, got snowed in and a replacement sitter was assigned. The replacement sitter, unfamiliar with the property, mistakenly assumed the partial fence extended around the entire yard and let the dogs out unsupervised. While Newington's other dog, Quinn, was recovered, Sawyer remained missing. For 10 days, Newington coordinated an extensive community search effort across time zones from 4,000 miles away. The breakthrough came 2 days after his return on January 17th, when he enlisted the services of a Lexington-based thermal drone company. The thermal drone deployment proved remarkably efficient, locating Sawyer in approximately 5 minutes. The dog was found curled up against a fence along Freedom's Way, with the thermal imaging technology allowing for detection despite challenging nighttime conditions. Despite instructions not to call out to the dog due to the potential flight risk, when Newington softly called Sawyer's name, the drone operator confirmed the dog's response, reporting that Sawyer looked towards Newington before running to the fence for a successful reunion. So, yeah, super epic. Rapid deployment and 5-minute search completion highlights drone's efficiency compared to traditional ground-based searches, particularly in adverse weather conditions. Thermal imaging technology proved especially valuable for nighttime, detecting the dog's heat signature against a cold winter background. The incident also showcases how specialized drone services are becoming integral to community emergency response systems. So this is super epic, super cool. Great technology to be able to help this guy recover his dog. I wish thermal drones weren't so stinking expensive. I'd love to have one specifically for stuff like this. Like, I mean, search and rescue is incredibly useful tool for thermal drones. So yeah, super cool there. All right. This I thought was interesting. So Drone Tag introduces Ryder, a game changer for drone safety in response to growing aerospace concerns. So Ryder is this little black device with an antenna, and it overcomes some cell phones' ability or inability to detect remote ID. So with recent incidents such as identified drone sightings in New Jersey and across the U.S. and a drone collision with an aircraft battling Los Angeles wildfires, The need for improved drone visibility has never been more urgent. Drone Tag's Rider, a pocket-sized drone-agnostic remote ID receiver, provides a cutting-edge solution to enhance situational awareness and ensure safer skies for all. Wireless, battery-powered, and ultra-compact, Rider captures remote ID signals from all drones, regardless of brand, and transmits their real-time data to the Drone Tag app or any UTM CUAS system of choice. This unmatched device visualizes, stores, and exports aircraft information such as position, altitude, speed, and pilot detail. Designed for 24/7 monitoring of commercial drones, Rider provides live visualizations and airspace alerts to support a wide range of applications where public safety is a priority. This revolutionary device is not just a step forward, it's a leap forward towards safer, smarter airspace management. Lucas Burchell, CEO and founder of Drone Tag, explains Rider provides a level 0 solution for situational awareness, offering 3 connectivity options for real-time data sharing, integrated LTE, Bluetooth, or USB. While mobile phones were initially expected to handle such tasks, their technical limitations left a gap that Rider now fills seamlessly. With its ability to ensure both online and offline data transfer, it's perfectly suited for private or sensitive operations. Designed for precise, reliable, and drone-agnostic detection, Rider ensures that users can carry it and be instantly alerted to potential danger anytime, anywhere. Whether clipped to a backpack, attached to a radio controller, or slipped into a pocket, its compact design ensures maximum portability and continuous awareness. So, Rider
How
is
about that
designed.
price?
What-
Did you get to the price yet?
No, I haven't got to the price yet. Oh, God, hell.
Ouch.
I didn't even go that far. I think I stopped here at the. I got enamored by the diagram, but
So I was reading up on this, and I'm thinking, okay, I could see where this is useful. This could be
Mhm.
useful for public safety to make sure they're not errant drones in the air. This could be useful for an FPV multi GP race. To
Right.
someone wants to come film your race. It's like no, stay away, stay away. It could be useful for late old guy RC events where you've got airplanes flying, and some of them
I
are
down
flying
airplane.
FPV, and then you've got a drone coming in. So all useful up until the point where I saw the price, and
And-
you need an LTE subscription.
And
Oh,
I wonder,
geez.
is it logging the data too?
Yes,
Yeah.
Is
it most definitely is logging it.
It's going,
and-
yeah. Drone Tag cloud platform. So it's it's
That's why
definitely
they
going
want.
to the cloud.
That's why they're.
Yep.
That's what the use of the LTE subscription is for.
So
Yeah.
one of the target
Mhm.
markets is large corporations who want to spy on all their competitors and what their drones are doing. They sprinkle these around the country and they can see everything and record everything anybody's doing with the drone.
That's
It's
incredibly
possible.
expensive. I was like, oh, I want one of these. And
And
now
I-
I'm like, no, I don't.
You could
Can make your
certainly
own for
build one
cheaper.
of those out of a Raspberry Pi, skip the
Wait.
cell phone connection, and
Wait,
you'd
for
be
that
good to
price,
go.
can't I just buy a phone that has the capability that this is lacking?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
I'm-
some.
That is supposed to
So,
lack.
Well, it's got to be.
And then I get a phone on
if
top
it's
of
a-
that.
If it's an Android phone, the answer to that is yes. If it's an iPhone, the answer would be no. That, of course, is the gap that Lucas is referencing. Is that iPhones do not receive Bluetooth
Wi-Fi.
beacon.
Oh.
They do receive Wi-Fi. They don't receive Bluetooth beacon. So,
Yeah.
but $900. So this
Yeah,
is
at
this.
that point, I'll just
So
buy a
the product, yeah, the product to me was like, oh, this is cool. This makes good
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
And Lucas's company, Drone Tag, has come out with clever product after clever product, and usually aggressively priced. So this one was like, wow, I didn't see this coming. So
Yeah, it's a little
we'll
heavy.
see what happens.
So it says any broadcast direct
how about
remote
that
ID,
price?
and it lists DJI, Autel, Skydio, Parrot, Wingtra, Drone Tag, Spectrum, Holybro, Unique, Holystone, Blue Mark, Zing, Aerobits, Potensic, and one I can't read at the bottom. So definitely interesting.
Stationary version of the remote ID receiver, Drone Tag Scout.
Yeah, well, maybe that one will
Designed for
be
large scale
$1,500.
operations.
So 64 grams with antenna, very small. Industrial chip SIM, global cover. I wonder if you don't have to do the LTE though. Like, I mean, if you don't want it to go,
Right. That's
I
possible.
mean, you could just connect via Bluetooth
Talk.
or USB, right? So,
Right. And
but
that
still,
little
that's pricey.
antenna shown in the diagram, I think, is associated with the 2-kilometer range. And then they talk in the somewhere in the article about a very large range approaching 20 kilometers. But I suspect that would necessitate
Antenna
some
higher.
directional antennas.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely hydro tag. I would like one of these. I will test it for you, but I do not want to pay
It's
$900.
interesting that it has its own GPS. So not only does it tell you where the drone is from the drone's remote ID, it tells you where it is with its own GPS.
Yeah.
Probably for triangulation so that you could calculate the path of the other vehicles.
Well, you should know that from the remote
That's
ID
interesting.
information.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
why
should get
would you
that from
need
a
to
remote
know?
ID. Well, if you have your
Yeah, why
location
would
and maybe it's a downed aircraft, it can kind of help guide you in, right? So,
Or
that's-
again, you have a handful of these spread around the city. They can triangulate information between themselves and
and then you can find them again.
verify whether or not the remote ID coming from the drone is accurate.
Interesting. So it says 5-kilometer, 3-mile range with default, 10 kilometers, 6 miles with optional high performance antenna. So,
There you go.
well,
Yeah.
I will take a
Who
sponsor.
says
to
there's
have
not
one.
there's not innovation in the FPV world?
All right. Shoot.
I'm guessing
right,
the price
so-
is just so high because they're not sure how many they'll actually sell.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing is like, I mean, these could be beneficial for more than just, professional pilots and public safety. All right. I mean, this could be definitely useful for a lot of different things. So,
Right.
steep though, steep. All right. We have 2 enforcement actions. So, former Skydance Interactive president pleads guilty to piloting drone that crashed into a plane during the Palisades fire. So Peter Ackerman has agreed to cover the estimated $65,169 dollars in plane repairs and to complete 150 hours of community service to help aid Southern California wildfire relief. So Peter Aikman, the former president of Skydance Interactive, has pled guilty to flying the drone that collided with and subsequently grounding a Canadian Super Scooper firefighting plane as the Palisades fire raged on January 9th. Aikman, who worked with Skydance's video game and virtual reality arms starting in 2016 and recently left his role, agreed to a guilty plea of 1 count of unsafe operation of an unmanned aircraft. The charge, a misdemeanor, could result in a sentence of up to 1 year in federal prison, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California announced Friday. The January 9th collision of a DJI Mini 3 Pro with a firefighting aircraft provided by the government of Quebec to help LA battle its destructive wildfires made national headlines. The crash damaged a wing of a Canadair CL415 Super Scooper, called so because it can fly low over water sources and ladle over 1,000 gallons of water to dump on a fire, and grounded the plane for days. Per the plea agreement, Aikman launched the drone from the top floor of a parking garage near Santa Monica's 3rd Street Promenade on January 9th in an attempt to survey the fire ravaging the Pacific Palisades. But he lost track of the drone once he had flown it more than 1.5 miles away from its starting point, after which it collided with the Canadian aircraft being manned by 2 crew members. By this point, the FAA temporary flight restrictions barring drones from flying near the ongoing LA area wildfires were already in effect. Aikman, irrelevant. This defendant recklessly flew an aircraft into airspace where first responders were risking their lives in an attempt to protect lives and property. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph T. McNally said in a statement on Friday, the damage caused to the Super Scooper is a stark reminder that flying drones during times of emergency poses an extreme threat to personnel trying to help and compromises the overall ability of police and fire to conduct operations. As this case demonstrates, we will track down drone operators who violate the law and interfere with the critical work of our first responders. Aikman's defense attorneys said that he is deeply sorry for the incident in a statement. He accepts responsibility for his grave error in judgment and is cooperating with the government in effect to make amends. There are a number of mitigating factors that will come to light during the court proceedings, including Mr. Aikman's reliance on DJI drone's geofencing safeguard feature and the failure of that feature. That doesn't really exist anymore. So don't do this. Guys,
as
when
Greg
there's
as Greg Revendu would say, don't be that guy.
yeah,
And the other, and we just talked about Aloft. So, you think, I'm not sure what's going on, but boy, I'd like to go fly. To light up Aloft, and you'll see, ooh, there's a TFR. Well, temporary flight restriction, do not fly. And so, really simple, really straightforward. But my goodness, if there's a fire in the area, it just, when would you ever, unless you are authorized and working with a fire company, what were you doing up in the air? So
yeah.
it's good that he came forward and confessed to this. The obvious is, what was what was the cost of that aircraft being out of commission for several days? I'm sure it's a big number. So if he
100%.
gets away with just the fine of $65,000 for damages to the aircraft plus community service, if that's the extent of the sentencing, then that's very lenient in my view.
100%. So yeah, bad stuff there. Don't be that guy. Next, we have Philadelphia drone pilot faces historic FAA enforcement. In a significant enforcement action, a Philadelphia drone operator has been permanently banned from flying drones in the United States following alleged violations of FAA regulations. The case, United States of America versus Michael I don't know how to say his last name, DeCurio, highlights increasingly stringent enforcement of drone safety regulations by federal authorities. The United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania has entered a consent judgment against Michael DeCurio, who admitted to multiple violations of FAA regulations during drone flights in Philadelphia's downtown area. The consent judgment agreed to before Magistrate Judge Jose Ortega on January 23rd and signed by Chief Judge Mitchell Goldberg on January 29th follows a series of alleged unsafe operations. According to the United States complaint, DeCurio's alleged violations occurred between December 2019 to present, including night flights in close proximity to prominent Philadelphia landmarks, including the William Penn statue, PSFS building, and Liberty One building, operations in controlled airspace near Philadelphia International Airport, flights over people and vehicles, a near collision with a church steeple, and at least one incident where DeCurio lost control of the drone, causing it to fly uncontrolled over Philadelphia. A progression of enforcement actions is particularly noteworthy in this case. Despite receiving written warnings, counseling, and education from the FAA regarding safe operation requirements, DeCurio allegedly continued to operate drones illegally and in a manner deemed careless or reckless. This led to a preliminary injunction in February 2024, in which DeCurio was later found in contempt of, resulting in a court order surrender of his drone equipment on May 23rd, 2024. Under the terms of the consent judgment, DeCurio has admitted that all allegations of his conduct in the verified complaint are true and accurate, acknowledged violations of FAA regulations and safety guidance, accepted administrative findings that may be considered aggravating factor in any future enforcement proceedings, agreed to never operate any type of drone within the United States, committed to never seek any type of drone certification or license, agreed to take down Philly Drone Life YouTube channel and not resurrect its content, and abandoned all drone equipment previously surrendered to the FAA. That's hefty.
Yeah, never
So
operate
wasn't-
any type of drone within the U.S. So, not even inside, not even.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't this the yeah, not inside. Wasn't this the guy who also had a fine from the FAA of $182,000?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
it's the
Isn't
same
that
guy who did get
same
that
guy,
fine.
right?
I don't think he ever
Yeah.
paid it, but
No.
Maybe that's why the contempt
I'm wondering
charge.
if the fine has been dropped, in lieu of
Lieu of
these.
everything else.
Yeah. So to me, as a number of folks have reported on this, that this individual absolutely ignored the FAA for several years. He was contacted numerous times, told to stop. He didn't, and so the $182,000 in fines was individual fines in the magnitude of $1,500 each. So a lot of fines, a lot of ignoring the man. So, if he gets away without the 182K, this again is this to me is not
Lenient?
not a heavy fare. It is pretty lenient. The other thing is that flying in the Philadelphia area over the last 4 years, Philadelphia was regularly a VIP TFR because
Mhm.
whenever President Biden was home, it's a short hop from Washington D.C. over to where he lived, and Philadelphia was just locked down, and so you couldn't fly in the Philadelphia area, and so he probably also violated VIP TFRs. So
Mm.
not clever. I don't want to see the guy in jail. These are all civil violations, and certainly $182,000. He has no income to be able to pay that. So hopefully he doesn't also have to pay
Mhm.
the big fine that he racked up.
Yeah. So, I mean, tough, but at the same time, it does said industry observers note that this case could set a precedent for future enforcement actions against repeat offenders of drone regulations, particularly in urban areas where the risks to public safety are heightened. The lifetime ban represents a new level of enforcement that could become more common in cases of repeated willful violations. Yeah, that's strong. I mean, that's I mean, I wouldn't want to pay the fine, and if I had to give up flying drones, number one, I wouldn't. Again, I'm not that guy, but
he had plenty of opportunities to stop before it got to
agreed,
that level.
Right.
agreed. So that's tough. All right, last on the list, we have Airbus to pause City Airbus next gen development. So, Airbus Helicopters will pause its CityBus Next Gen Urban Air Mobility demonstrator program later this year, claiming battery technology in particular needs to evolve before it can launch a successful UAM program. The move was announced by Airbus Helicopters CEO Bruno Even during a briefing on the company's performance in 2024 and followed a strategic review at the end of the year. We learned a lot with City Airbus Next Gen, and our 10 years of investment in the urban air mobility prototype has been clearly instrumental to advance our understanding of technologies, which are not only relevant for this urban mobility market, but for all our portfolio and across the Airbus portfolio, said Even. At the same time, we see today that conditions to launch a new program are not necessarily there. Airbus made its first foray into the UAM landscape with its City Airbus and Vahana demonstrators almost a decade ago and incorporated lessons learned from those two programs into City Airbus Next Gen. Airbus launched the City Airbus Next Gen prototype in 2021 with the objective of being in a position to launch a full program before the end of the decade. The aircraft is powered by 8 propellers and 16 electrical power units with dual systems for redundancy and can carry 1 pilot with 3 passengers and a banked seat at the rear of the cabin. The performance target for the type included having the ability to transport 4 passengers 80 to 100 kilometers or 50 to 62 miles. We clearly see on the battery side the need to continue to improve the performance in order to be able to reach what we consider the minimum level of performance in missions, said Even. When asked if he had a sense of how long it would take for battery technology to mature to such a point, he said, not in the near future. So, looks like they're going to continue. Long story short, they're going to continue to do the testing through the end of the year, and then looks like the next gen city Airbus is going down.
So this one is really curious because of for anyone watching the aviation industry, the two largest airline manufacturers are Airbus and Boeing.
Boeing.
And Boeing has not been doing too well last couple of years, largely due to manufacturing quality issues and
Safety.
safety with the 737 Max, and then losing a door off a 737 that never helps the PR. But the Boeing still has a competitor in this area with the subsidiary Whisk. And so they continue working on that. Airbus continues to work in large military drones. They'd be a competitor to General Atomics. So this is anything from Airbus or Boeing, in our view, is always worth reading carefully what's going on. These are two very important companies around the world, and the way they hint and lean is important to the entire aviation industry. So this to us was a bellwether announcement from the leading airliner company in the world today.
Yeah. And I think, I think this is the same argument that we have with even our hobby grade or even commercial drones, right? You sacrifice certain things to make them work. So, when it comes to high performance FPV racing drones, you sacrifice duration for speed and agility, whereas, aircraft like DJIs sacrifice speed for longevity. And when it comes to something this large, carrying passengers, I think it's, just in my mind, and I'm not an engineer by any stretch, but power density of the batteries and weight of the batteries are the two biggest limiting factors, I would imagine, when it comes to large aircraft of this type for urban air mobility. So, am I wrong on that?
Don't think so.
No, energy
think you're
density is
right
the
on.
limiting factor.
Yeah. And to me, I think weight's a limiting factor for anything that flies, right? So,
Yeah, because the electric motors are the most efficient. They're much more efficient than internal combustion engines, but
yeah,
the energy density of fuel makes up for the inefficiency of the engines.
yeah, 100%. So, all right. With that is all I have for tonight on the news. Dave, what you got, buddy?
We're about to this week. We'll post our comments on the advance notice for public rulemaking that was put out by the Commerce Department. We're working on a number of other things. This week also strikes me as quite interesting. Had a number of requests already this week for conversations from a variety of people in the industry working on products and different efforts. And so, my thanks to our members to allow us to do what we do. Some of the things we're working on are confidential, and we are always looking for how can we help recreational operators across the country. And so it's a privilege to do this work. As Joshua Bardwell says, he can't understand how we can work on regulations and keep at this, but it does allow us to help, advise, and participate in a whole range of projects and areas in the small UAS industry. And our thanks to our members that make that possible.
Okay. Dan, what you got for us, bud? Anything?
Nothing much. For people who are interested in reading and want to learn more about DJI and their geofencing and why they decided to stop doing it, there's a fairly long article with some Q&A between The Verge and DJI. That I'll post that in the YouTube channel there for people who want to do some more reading.
Awesome.
And I suppose just in case any of you guys want to see it too, it's there. But it is a lengthy article, and they asked DJI a bunch of questions. And I mean, Who knows how true it is, but it's what DJI is publicly stating.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So let's see. I'm just gonna highlight here. Let me just highlight a couple key points just from a quick browse of it here.
And basically, they talked about things like it costs them money. There's no legal requirement to do it, so why do it? That kind of thing.
So it says no-fly zones don't make drones safer, but they might make life-saving flights easier. DJI stands to save some money in staffing costs by eliminating no-fly zones. DJI has an awful lot of convincing to do in a short amount of time, and DJI will be fine even as it prepares to leave the U.S. market stagnant if given no alternative.
Yeah, they also talk about they sell drones around the world. The United States is a big market. It would be a bummer to lose them, but if that happens, it happens.
Yeah. So definitely a question and answer kind of article. So and it's fairly
long.
lengthy,
Not something
so.
we can just go over the whole thing right now without summarizing it.
Yeah. So I'll leave that to you guys. Definitely I'm gonna give it a read and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah. Thanks for that, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Alex, what do you got, sir? Oh, let me stop sharing white screens.
Not too much, but we had a pro spec esport race at MultiGP, so the Velocitron for qualifying to the sim, and so there's a wild card spot with that for the pro spec championships that happened recently. Then there's also for the collegiate championships, if there's any universities there that want to try to get in on the sim qualifiers for the collegiate championship, that's open now, and will be done over the next couple weeks to try to see who all goes to that. And so
Is University Fairbanks participating in that event?
no, I'm the only drone racing pilot up here, and I'm a grad student, so
It's just for those
not
those
fair
lowly,
for everyone else.
for those undergrads.
Yeah.
All right, and just a side note on drone racing. So the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale has unveiled the drone racing lineup for the World Games 2025 for Chengdu, China, from the 13th of August to the 16th of August. So that's the one thing I had for drone racing to kind of toss in there. Let me see if I can share this real quick. Share. So World Games 2025 drone racing. See the world's top pilots battle for glory in an electrifying display of speed, skill, and precision. It's got the list of the pilots and their country of origin. Let's see. I don't know. Couple. Definitely looks like a couple from Germany, only one from the US. So so that'll be interesting to see. I know we've talked about them trying to bring this to the World Games. So it looks like they're continuing that. So that's pretty cool.
That's good.
Oh, I suppose one more minor thing we could mention. Buy your drone parts from United States companies, because if you buy stuff from China and Taiwan right now and it happens to go through the United States Post Office, it might get stuck there indefinitely. If you've seen the headlines about the post office has stopped
So I heard that
accepting
similar
packages or something.
similar to the Canadian and Mexico tariffs. I heard that shortly after the post office put out that announcement, they rescinded it.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't see that part of it yet.
Yeah, and I did not hear that it was temporary. I think on the post office stopping shipments from China to the United States, I'm pretty sure that's been halted. Which brings me to mind. For those of you who've been following us, you know I'm a news junkie in technology news, in financial news, and regulation and political news. And so I'm trying very hard, and the rest of the team here is doing a great job of keeping me shut up, of not whining and complaining about politics. And we'll work to keep FPVFC on a straight and narrow, and these calls to be focused on regulations and things that affect us. And so that's what we will commit to do.
Politically agnostic, right?
Whoever allows us to fly with less restrictions.
Here, here.
Right. So, all right. Alex, anything else to wrap us up?
Nothing else here.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us this evening. I hope this was informative. I mean, big things. We've got Aloft. That's big news. Some enforcement actions that we haven't seen previously. But I still, on a more personal note, I would say the FAA is still trending towards education rather than enforcement, at least for the near future. And that's seemingly been, the case. But don't be that guy. Don't fly during natural disasters or unnatural disasters or whatever. Keep people safe. Keep yourself safe. Go out and have fun flying. But with that, I'll sign off, and we'll see you in another 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us this evening. It means a lot to us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night,
Take
guys.
care.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight.